Hey guys, how's it going? So, I've got some breaking news concerning the 2020 election coming from Michigan. And I'm going to be going through an article from The Hill as reported by Tal Axelrod. And it's titled, Deadlocked Board of Canvassers in Michigan County Fails to Certify the Election Results. So, if you guys aren't familiar with how this works, the canvassers have to certify the election results before they actually count. It's not going to be completely set in stone because there's still court hearings and this could get really complicated. However, let's just say this. Them certifying the results means that they're basically saying these votes are good, these votes can be counted as such, and then we'll move on closer to the Electoral College. And as you also know, many citizens of the state of Michigan, as well as the Trump campaign, have been contesting these votes. For good reason too, as I've mentioned in other videos, talking about votes coming in the middle of the night after the polling stations supposedly closed, right? People coming in with their big igloo coolers and their radio flyer wagons and all this crazy stuff. Unless you've been under a rock, I think you know what I'm talking about. So here's the latest news, and this just came out this evening. The Wayne County, now this is where Detroit's at, just so you know, the biggest, most populous county in Michigan. The Wayne County Board of Canvassers failed to certify the election results in Michigan's largest county Thursday after the four-member panel deadlocked a 2-2 along partisan lines. And I think they mean Tuesday, not Thursday. I think I just caught a typo because today's the 17th and that's when the article was written. So this just happened this evening. The decision, which was made amid a flood of Republican lawsuits in the Wolverine state, came after some absentee poll books in Detroit, which is located in Wayne County, were found to be out of balance. A similar mismatch in the August primaries and general election in 2016 did not prevent the body from certifying those results. Both of the GOP members of the panel voted to not certify the results, while the Democratic members voted to certify. And that's what we would expect. Obviously, the Democrats are going to want to certify because, as of right now, the Associated Press and the Democrats are calling Michigan for Joe Biden. Now, again, these results are not final. There's still litigation. There's still processes left. But that is, if these votes are certified as they stand, Joe Biden will win Michigan. So, of course, it's going to go across party lines. But there's this board, right, that certifies the results. But do you guys remember Jocelyn Benson, the Secretary of State? She's the same one that said no open carry at the voting, thought she could actually enact gun control by executive action as the Secretary of State. Well, she got shot down in the court systems, but we're going to get to her just in a minute, if there's any Jocelyn Benson fans out there. I don't think so. I'm sure there's one. It says the deadlock will likely kick the responsibility of certifying the county's results to the Secretary of State's office and the Board of State Canvassers, which will then have 10 days to canvass and certify the results. The failure to certify is a public relations win, it's saying, for the Republicans, but a temporary one. And it says, for Republicans led by President Trump, who has waged a campaign to malign the election results in Michigan and other battlegrounds over baseless allegations of voter fraud. So we can see where the author of this story clearly stands. And that's more of a Democrat point of view generally there. That these are all baseless, nothing to see here, don't worry about it. And like I said before, to prove it, in this polling location in Detroit, they covered all the windows when the poll watchers were trying to watch, which were supposed to have transparent and free and honest elections in the state of Michigan. But they covered the windows, nothing to see here. As the author says, these are baseless allegations. I don't think so. It says Republicans have filed at least 4 lawsuits in Wayne County alone in an attempt to stop the count there, leaning on allegations of irregularities and claims that GOP poll watchers were unable to effectively monitor ballot counting. I've seen a lot of footage that shows that. So in my opinion, I can definitely see where there's some merit to these lawsuits. Democrats have rebutted the claims, maintaining that the election was run smoothly and that any irregularities would not be sufficient to overturn the nearly 150,000 vote lead. I think you'd be surprised at that. And by the way, that's a totally separate point. Who cares if it was 149,000? I mean, I care. I want this to be the way it's supposed to be. But you see my point? They're saying if there was some fraud and irregularities, it wasn't enough, so nothing to see here. No, every single vote should be legal. Only legal votes should be counted. And if there's one vote that was illegal, that should be addressed. That's my opinion, which is clearly different than what the state Democrats are saying. And then they go on to say Wayne County is also heavily Democratic, and votes there are widely expected to favor Joe Biden. Sure, but when there was 138,000 in the middle of the night with 0 to Trump, that goes a little bit further than the normal voting margin. I could see if Biden won Wayne County 60-40. I don't think so, because a lot of people there have switched to Trump supporters this year. But even if it was 70-30, I'm pushing it. But no, 138,000 votes, 100% Biden. So that's what they mean, I guess, by the fact that it's a heavily Democrat area. So it's saying that the GOP held the county panel's decision to deadlock, claiming it backs up their spurious claims of widespread fraud and irregularities in vote counting. You can definitely see a hard political slant from this author, in my opinion. I'll leave a link to this down there in the description so you guys can check it out. Here's a quote from Laura Cox, GOP chairwoman. I'm proud that due to the efforts of the Michigan Republican Party, the Republican National Committee, and the Trump campaign, evidence of irregularities and potential voter fraud were uncovered, resulting in the Wayne County Board of Canvassers refusing to certify their election results, said Michigan GOP chairwoman Laura Cox. This action will allow more time for us to get to the bottom of these deeply troubling irregularities. And I agree with her. There's irregularities. We know that for a fact. They're even admitting that there's some. They're just saying it's not enough. Back to that. Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. Shut up. You're dumb. It's over. That's what they want us to think. But we do need more time to look at it. And I am happy that this Board of Canvassers was deadlocked, just to give more time. We just want an honest answer. We just want an honest vote. And then we can move on and have Trump as the president for 4 more years. Democrats, in turn, slammed the Republican members of the county board with Rep. Rashida Tlaib, that's a beauty, who represents the area, saying they put politics above their duty to our residents. And this is a tweet from Rashida Tlaib today. It's plain and simple, folks. The Republican members of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers put politics above their duty to our residents, suggesting that all of Wayne County can be certified, except for Detroit, is horrifying, racist, and a subversion of our democracy. So she's pulling the race card in normal Democrat fashion. And I'm surprised she didn't cuss up a storm, because I remember her screaming and yelling and cussing like crazy where I couldn't even let my daughter watch with me when she got elected to Congress. This is one of the cleanest tweets she's ever written. But she did pull the race card. Of course, although I would note there's a lot of people of many different colors that live in Wayne County, and a lot of them did vote for President Trump too. So it goes on to say, in refusing to approve the results, oh, wait a minute, okay, we've got Gretchen here. The governor's chiming in. Here's her quote. In refusing to approve the results of the election in Wayne County, the 2 Republican members of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers have placed partisan politics above their legal duty to certify the election results. The people have spoken. Joe Biden won Michigan by more than 140,000 votes. Today's action is a blatant attempt to undermine the will of the voters. The process, however, will move forward. Under Michigan law, the Board of State Canvassers will now finish the job, and I have every expectation they will certify the results when the job is done. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Democrat. I think it's kind of wild that she's giving us quotes on the duties, that she's giving quotes on partisan politics. This is the one that said 86-45 in one of her rather recent news interviews on TV. Republican celebrations, it says, may be short-lived with Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. I told you she was coming up, for you guys looking forward to it. Here she is. Declaring state authorities would take the reins and work to certify Wayne County results. And here's a quote from the Secretary of State. Should the current decision of the Board of Wayne County Canvassers hold through the adjournment of today's meeting, the Board of State Canvassers will be responsible for certifying the Wayne County election. In similar circumstances in the past, state canvassers have appointed the Bureau of Elections to carry out the process of canvassing the vote and voter totals, said Benson. So don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. Wagons coming in the middle of the night. 138,000 votes to 0. That's what I read anyways. Igloo coolers, radio flyer wagons. Just cover the windows so that people can't see. Don't worry. Jocelyn Benson's going to make sure that this works out. And Jocelyn Benson added, the Bureau stands ready to fulfill this duty, and we expect this will address clerical errors and improve the quality of the canvass overall. It is common for some precincts in Michigan and across the country to be out of balance by a small number of votes, especially when turnout is high. Importantly, this is not an indication that any votes were improperly cast or counted. She added, so again, she's already saying there's going to be some problems, but it's just not going to be enough, so we will take care of it. And the article has her tweet right here. So here's the deal. The county board of canvassers, they're in a deadlock. They've failed to certify. Now we have the governor chiming in. We have the Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, chiming in. And they're going to say they're going to go over their head and the state's going to take care of this. The Democrat-led executive branch is going to make sure that any little clerical irregularities are figured out. It's not going to be enough to change anything, so don't even worry about it. That's what they're telling us. But this is still good news. This is still good news. You can see where this is heading after the Democrat executive branch gets a hold of these votes. You already know what they're going to say. They're basically telling you before they count them, before they canvass them. I want you to think about that. Jocelyn Benson's yet to go through these votes. It's yet to get to the state level. It's still in the county, and they're already telling you the outcome before they even look at it. So you guys are smart people. You can do the math in your own head and see what that means. But it sounds like to me, in my opinion, there's already a predetermined outcome, but they're going to look at it as a formality, just get Joe Biden the votes he needs in Michigan. But there's still good news. This does give the Trump administration and the citizens of Michigan who are suing in the various different levels of courts more time to have their appeals heard. And hopefully the Michigan legislature can get their act together real quick and force an audit of all of the votes in the state of Michigan. All right, there's still a lot more to happen with this election. It's not over with yet, and there's going to be a lot more going on. It is 2020 still. All right, thanks for watching, and have a good one.